guys, I'm not having 18%.
People think
cost.
18.
No, a lot of people say that.
Is it?
They say, I see like that. You cover what? 18%? And I'm like, no.
Welcome to the Brick Mortar Cloud podcast, where we share about scaling stories in F&B and retail. This podcast is brought to you by Staff Any and produced by Nick Chan. I'm Janson, one of the co-founders of Staff Any, and today we're extremely proud to have Kai, founder of Scaled by Ah Hua Kelong, and many other businesses to share his scaling stories in F&B. Kai, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. So, my name is Kai, and I run Scaled by Ah Hua Kelong, and a couple of other small things like
Pilot Kitchen, Madu Bakery, and many more.
Not that many.
Can you share a bit more about how do you get into this F&B journey?
For me, first things first, I think F&B was never in the cards to begin with. Firstly was Ah Hua Kelong, where the opportunity presented itself 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago, where I would be able to work with a local fish farmer to be able to reach out to more locals and all that. That was with the intention to bridge the gap between locals and local produce. Then F&B came on board, or rather the idea for F&B came only after. So yeah.
What were you doing in your previous life before going to work with Ah Hua Kelong as well as this? Digital.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
So actually, I was in an agency for a year and a half, 2 years. Basically selling your Google, Yahoo ads.
I see.
Yeah, so your search engine, SEM, SEO, search marketing.
That's the reason why Ah Hua Kelong, when I record 10 years ago, was one of the first few e-commerce direct to consumer, farming fish distribution business, I would say, that you could place an order online. I think that time was like $60 minimum order or something.
40 actually.
40, right?
Yeah.
And I remember you having like fresh live fish, live crabs even, live mussels, large clams, lala, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And many, many more. So that must have been from your experience in the past in the digital agency, right?
To some point, yeah. I mean, we had some sort of experiences in that digital field, so why not? And then back in the day, I think Facebook was pretty dominant. And then there was no, as a 25-year-old back then, there was no other way to buy local produce.
Right.
Seafood especially, right? There's no way to find it. I'm like, why is no one doing it? So if I have that opportunity to be the first and to be able to just bridge that gap, then why not? Yeah.
Obviously, Scaled as well as maybe even Pilot Kitchen, we have a lot of synergies with Ah Hua Kelong as a supplier side of things. What is the vision actually for your brands that you're operating and scaling? Like, what's that synergy? What's that end state? What are you trying to achieve in this suite of brands?
For me, to begin with, Scaled by Ah Hua Kelong was set up 7 years ago. So why was Scaled set up? Or was because we are always talking about local produce is good, it is fresh, it's versatile, blah, blah, blah. So then how do we show it to people? And how do we prove a point? So Scale was in a way set up to prove a point, to show people that local produce is capable of this. And we wanted to be that first farmer-owned restaurant on land. Of course, because licensing doesn't allow us to bring people up. So we wanted a place where we can really showcase our produce in ways that we deem fit for the general public. So that's why Scale was born. So that wasn't the idea before, but it was to a point where competitors were starting to come in. Everybody saw that we could do the whole live and fresh seafood delivery thing, and they wanted a piece of it. Right. They're like, okay, so how do we stay one step ahead? That was Scale. Then once Scale was set up, a little bit more stable, 3-4 years down the road, then we felt, okay, what's next? Or there's no we love me. I felt, what's next? So the next thing that I realized is in the F&B space, a lot of local young chefs don't have a place to explore and create. But Scale was set up just for that also. So we had 23 and 24-year-old chefs start with us at Scale. To this day, half the menu are still their recipes from back then, which is so popular that I cannot take it out. Then I thought, okay, so what if I have another space where we have young chefs come on board to just creatively express and create as a 25-year-old that otherwise when you go out there, you're at an entry-level chef maybe, you won't be able to do all these things. Of course, some places, the chef owners or the chefs are very welcome for you to do this, but not a lot. It's always production. So that's how Pilot was born. Yeah.
That's awesome. I also recently, patronized one of your new concept called Sliced by Ah Hua Kelong. So I do believe that is your first foray into coffee shops,
Yep.
kiosk-like concept where it serves a really mean fish soup. It is on the delicate side of things, sweet, tasty. I really love the sea bass use. It's really fresh. Tell me more about that story. Why did you choose to expand your business to coffee shops and to more simplified maybe menu offering as well as kiosk concepts?
For me, why we went there, because, so we've been sitting on the recipe for a while, myself and my current partner, who has helped me with our operations and logistics for the past 3-4 years. Started from COVID. Then we set at a recipe and like, why aren't we like putting it out there? And then what is the best way to go?
Right.
My DNA definitely is first thing I think of, shop house. Malls are something that I have never explored or want to explore at this point in time, because 6 months deposit.
Rental and cost.
6 months deposit at 5 digits, early to mid 5 digits, like a bit intense. So as I'm a basically a self-funded kind of thing. We said, okay, how about this? We set up a coffee shop store, reasonable rent. Let's get feedback. Are we doing the right thing? Do people actually like our stuff? So, because to begin with, our recipe is not your everyday. It's not going to be your favorite. It's not going to taste like your favorite fish soup that you had since 20 years ago.
Very different.
We're not trying to copy or be exactly like that. We're trying to be like, this is our style. Let's hope that this will be your favorite moving forward. So, we've been open a month now, and then I think feedback has been really quite positive. So we're quite happy with that. Now is just how to let people understand what we are actually trying to do. Then from there, so I'm a bit more hands-on.
Right.
Scaling it to that point is I need to experience it first, see how it's like. I need to touch and feel. Then I know, okay, this is the way to go. Then we will bring it forward from there.
Right.
Yeah,
this
of course,
this is very similar to our first episode with Noman. He mentioned that quality control is very important, and he wouldn't push and scale his operations without him giving that nod of approval first. I do believe you also have that same philosophy in terms of when you're ready to press fuel on the guzzle and to scale, right?
Yeah. So not just like having to taste it or to run it, but it's also to really go through that whole process. Then potentially, let's say today you don't know anything about a coffee shop store or even a restaurant, and then you want to own it, but then you want to correct it. With what experience? There's no way, ma. It's only outside looking in. You think that is correct. You think that it should be like that, but you don't know for sure what the customers are saying. Today, if 10 people come through your door, 9 of them give you positive feedback. Do you change based on that one that says they don't like it?
Maybe not.
Maybe not, right? So it has to be able, we must be able to identify all these things.
Right, right. Yeah. By the way, the chili sauce there is really mean. It's really amazing. I really love it a lot. Super good. But yeah, I think from here, the audience can tell that in your businesses, there's a lot of synergies, right? You have the Kelong, and the Kelong does direct to consumer, B2C. I do see like Lunar New Year, steamboat sets, direct to consumer stuff that you guys have been really, really strong with for the longest time. Then you have restaurants, sit-down restaurants with also a really good cocktail menu, I do believe, scaled, pilot kitchen, and now going to kiosks like in the coffee shop we mentioned. Is there like a B2B angle as well? Is there like, other areas that you guys scale as an entire business strategy?
So B2B is something that we've been doing right after we launched B2C 10 years ago when we first started. So back then, B2C helps us to move products or produce. B2B helps us to stabilize things. You have to have both work hand in hand. You cannot have one more than the other. Definitely one will be more than the other, but you cannot like neglect either. Both of them have to be on the stronger side. If you have either one of them down, then that's going to cause like an issue with the balance. So that's why we do push out quite a bit of products B2B wise. But that's a challenge in itself because we are a local fish farm. Price point is,
right. You guys
that much more than your farm in Malaysia.
Right.
I can only say that I can promise you freshness, but like if you want price point, I don't have it. So if you believe in supporting local produce and our products, that when I say it's fresh, and you can see how we manage our producers, then buy from us.
But I think the best produce then make the best food. Some of my favorite foods in the world are about, clean tasting, fresh produce. And I think there's nothing faster, right, than from a Kelong just off the shores of Singapore and bringing direct to the restaurants. And I think if you guys actually dine in restaurants that serve, the fish from Ah Hua Kelong or other local produce, you guys can, testify that it actually tastes a lot better.
Yeah, so we're very proud of that fact that a lot of restaurants and the chefs, when we ask them, hey, how's your consumer feedback on your day-to-day,
Right.
everything okay? They say, actually, you know what? We had one guy that came in and he's like, he tasted, he didn't know the fish was from us. Some of the restaurants
Right.
don't say that their fish are from us. They say, is this fish from Ah Hua Kelong?
Whoa.
Because it's very familiar. Then I'm like, whoa.
There's a brand recognition just by
Yeah.
tasting the sea bass.
Yeah, because then I'm like surprised myself, because like I get that I can differentiate,
Right.
but how is this person able to? Then that person actually mentioned that he's been buying from us here and on and off for the past 10 years. So he somehow recognized the taste. So that's one of those proud moments
I see.
Yeah.
Is this strategy of B2B going to be something that you will continue investing a lot on? Like, what's the strategic focus for 2024 2025 for you guys?
24 is a year where I want to revisit the whole brand as Ah Hua Kelong. Like, I think we've established that we are a local fish farm.
Yes.
We are a local business. We farm here, we process here, we deliver here. Everything is done here, right? So I think we've established that for the past 10 years. Next is to continue to reach out to more locals, and then make them, or rather help them understand why it's good to support us, or even any other farm for that matter.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. In this journey, I think you've been working on it 10 years. There must be a lot of challenges and stories to share, overcoming them as well as success. Could you share the challenge first? What was one most challenging moment that you've experienced in the last 10 years that you didn't want to overcome, but you had to, and share some learnings from it to the rest of the team?
I think as self-run thing, I had to learn a lot of things from trial and error. You have to bang the wall, but it's all painful, right?
Right.
And then you bang the wall and you fall down, got chance you cannot come back up, right? That's the issue. And it's same for any business out there. Like, self-funded ones are always like that. So we cannot afford to make mistakes. When we do, we must somehow or rather figure out how to get back up. So that was the biggest challenge that I faced, because I was alone. I mean, I was never alone. I had a partner, but like that just didn't work out. So after which when I became alone, of course so the key thing here is too many chefs spoil the soup. Right? So
Spoil
then
the
I
fish
thought,
soup in this case.
I mean, yeah. So I thought, okay, I got this problem. I cannot solve, and I don't know. I'm at my wit's end. So I asked friend A, friend B, friend C, friend D, friend E, blah, 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 blah. Everybody gave me different advice. And I'm like, oh, siao, how? So then I thought back, never mind. I understand my business the best. So I will solve my business based on what I think is the best way forward.
Right.
Which may or may not be the right thing, but I try.
Right.
So like all this, the challenges is not just like monetary. There was like competition. There was the biggest challenge that I would say for Ah Hua Kelong side will be reaching out, trying to convince locals that our fish or our produce, mussels even, are good. How do you show them that? Like, how do I tell you? I can tell you, but like, how
Taste
do you...
and try, visit scale.
Yeah, so to one point, when we first started, all the aunties, because they are kids, their daughters or sons will order for them. So when we deliver, it's like, huh? 我的女儿买的, my daughter bought this. It's like, from where? You from where? Then I say, oh, we farm in Singapore waters. Huh? Farm? Not nice one. Toby, muddy taste,
muddy
right?
taste, right? The
And
sea
all that.
bass, yeah.
They say all these things.
But by the way, yours don't have. I had a soup, don't have.
Yeah, but this is a mentality that has been built in.
Right.
But doesn't mean I'm farmed locally. Means I will have that muddy taste.
Yes.
Why? Because we are on open sea. We're not like in a
brackish water, what you call it, or
Yeah.
like a mangrove area.
Yeah, or we're not fresh water.
Yes.
So basically, this muddy taste is brought forward by a kind of bacteria that forms when it's like shallow water, not enough oxygen, blah 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 blah. 1,001 reasons. So I say very simple, auntie, you try. You don't like, I will refund to your son, daughter straight away.
Confident.
You try first. Tonight I will call your daughter or son, the person that has a number there. Then we will take it from there. Okay? Deal? So we did that. I did that because I deliver myself back then when I first started, right? So I did that for like quite a lot of households. None of them returned. None of them. So I was like, wow, hey. So I mean, confidence is one thing, right? But if people want to play punk with you, also like that. So, but that was the the way that I went with lah.
But this also shows the same philosophy you shared just now about when you open Slice, you went down to the coffee shop, right? And then operate yourself and try everything yourself. Delivery, you also went down yourself and make sure you get the feedback.
Yeah.
And then from there, you can take the feedback and improve your business in whatever you need to do so, right? So, kudos for being super hands-on and learning along the way.
Personal thing lah. It's a personal thing. I mean, as a business, of course not viable.
Forever is viable, not viable, but first few months, definitely you have to do it, right?
I've been doing that for 10 years lah.
Right.
So yes, not viable, but maybe how you let go. Like, I don't know. I don't know how some people do it, but I mean, you can say that I cannot let go, but to me is that if I'm not doing anything else, then okay lah. I mean, I cater time to develop,
Right.
It's not that I do, but like, then if you ask me now, go have dinner with my friends. Don't say family lah, okay? Friends, or don't say wife, say friends. Go dinner with my friends, or go to my restaurant and run service. Definitely go restaurant and run service.
Right. I think this is also a philosophy that a lot of whether it's tech founders we see. I think Anthony Tan also helps do some Grab deliveries to ensure that he knows what the riders are experiencing. And I think this is a good lesson for everybody trying to operate your own business or manage a team, lead by example and walk the talk, right? Kai, we talk about challenges. How about the most successful or most recent win that you have in the last few years? I think there's a lot of initiatives you have ran. Is there anything that you can share that other people can learn from or replicate at the same time?
I feel like there's no real big win. Like, whether it's like opening a new outlet or trying to do something else. Right. I don't think I consider those a win. A win is if I don't say 100%, I have 90% of people walk through my door and tell me that they enjoyed the food. Then that's the win for me lah. Of course, revenue, profits, cost, all that aside. Yeah, but first thing, if I know, I mean, with that, I can do something about it, ma. I mean, these are the things that is not within my control. Right. They like it or they don't like it, I cannot control. I can only control the quality of food, which I think is to my standard. But then the consumers themselves decide whether they like it or not. So I think that's the biggest win for me whenever I have people, when I see a 5-star review come through the door, or when somebody personally messages me and like, hey, like, I don't know, or message the restaurant phone, hey, I don't know whether this is you or this is whoever is doing this, like, thank you, please keep doing it. Then they're saying how proud they are of us, that we've been around for 7 years, blah, 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 blah. Right. So those are the wins for me lah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. And if you guys are diners in his restaurant or other restaurants, do send your, positive reviews and, word of thanks. I think this will help a lot of our local businesses, continue pushing further and encourage them to do better. Now we're going to move to the next part of our podcast where we like to talk more about like industry insights as well as key metrics and tech stack, that kind of stuff. So maybe before going to some of those questions that I commonly ask other F&B businesses, are you guys a very metrical business? Do you guys have like KPIs? Do you guys have like sales targets, that kind of stuff? Like how do you operate your management and your different outlets?
For starters, there will definitely be some sort of numbers that we need to look at. Cost cannot be of a certain amount. Rent, you will know that going in. Right. Manpower, we need to control to a certain amount. But then it's chicken and egg thing, right? With every business. So if you're a very service-oriented business, means your manpower is going to be high.
For sure.
If you're a food-focused business, your food cost is going to be high. Yes and no lah. But if you're both food and service-orientated and everything else, then you want to be a nice place, you want to be high rent, expensive rent, you want to be expensive reno, then everything is high. So then how do we value your costing and what makes sense? The typical golden rule for F&B is you must not have your food cost go above 30%. That's the typical thing that everybody says. Right. But for me, I feel like it's subjective. Here can pull a bit, there can pull a bit. Yes. So we balance it out. Marketing, you need to cost it in also. So for me, it's, if you go into scale, I put a lot of effort into service. We are not the expensive place. Yes, we are like a casual dining spot, but I feel like service should always be there because that's the first thing that people see.
100%.
Yeah. So then is my manpower cost high? 100%. Yeah, because to me, it's 3 tables to 1 staff.
Whoa, that is actually very, very personalized. Yeah. Wow.
Especially because we wanted that experience.
Wow. Okay.
That was when we first started. Now I realize cannot. So as we go, we adjust. Yeah. So 3 to 1 person is what I want, but 3 to 1 person, 3 3 tables to 1 person is not what I can afford.
Yes.
So we try. Can we do 4? Can we do 5? So we slowly increase.
Right.
Once the staff gets more experienced, then actually 5 is fine.
Yes.
They can do 5 and customers will still be happy. They'll get their drinks topped up on time. They'll get their food explained to them in a properly, then it's not rushed.
Right.
So I guess there's no golden rule to it. You must adjust based on your
business model. And every business model is different.
Yeah, everybody is a little bit different.
For your shop at scale, like, is there a target like labor cost ratio to revenue that you aim for? Is there like a
there
goal?
is. There is based on historical figures lah.
Right.
And then what I need to achieve what I need. But then my advice to anybody who's running out there, especially if you're running it yourself, always look at the numbers to make sure you're on track. My mistake when I first started was I just let it run and I review it end of the year. Too late.
How disgusting did the number went into in terms of like labor costs compared to revenue? Was it like 40-50%? Oh my god.
It's for me.
It's for me
blood lah. I'm like, wow. How? So I'm bashing myself about how did I let that happen back then. I cannot make that same mistake again.
Right.
And believe it or not, it happened again. So again, that's my mistake lah, right? But for me, because I prioritize a lot on customer experience. So when that happens, I kind of lose sight on everything else. And I'm like, no. I cannot do that.
Right.
So what do? You try to increase revenue so that it balances. But then revenue is not something you can control to some point, right? People don't want to come, they don't want to come.
Yep, seasonal.
So I mean, marketing, you can only do so much. Right. So then I realized, okay, we need to balance it. So then I dropped a little bit and then make way. I cannot push the revenue. If the revenue comes up, then we will solve that with more manpower again. So but you cannot have everything on the high and hope that the revenue catches up. That's not how it works.
If there's a number range to share with people, what kind of ratio are you looking for? Is it like 20+%, 30%? Like what kind of numbers do you
manpower? Okay, of 100% revenue lah. Of course it's subjective, right?
Subjective, subjective for all business.
So let's say
aspiration.
Let's say you're doing okay. You're quite stable. At 100% revenue, your manpower should not ever pass 40%.
Wow, that's actually still very high because when we talk to the other business owners, people are trying to keep it within 30, and on your side, 40 is really an investment on service.
But we look at current landscape, right?
Right.
How I can keep it at freaking 30%, no problem. But then
service
who's gonna work for you?
Yeah.
I can keep it realistically speaking, I can keep it at 30%, no problem. But then at this, I know myself on paper, okay, I need to hire somebody at 2,000 or 1,008. Then I can keep it at that percent. But then who's going to do it? You do yourself, lor.
Yeah.
So it's not realistic at this current landscape. And then with the guys that have been with you for a couple of years, do you stick them at like 2.5?
No way, yeah.
No, right?
Way. Yeah, loyal people, yeah.
It's like that. Like as business owners, for me, the idea here is if I don't grow, my guys don't grow. So part of the reason why I keep trying to push for new things, new outlets or whatever, we can internally grow.
Right.
I'd rather internally grow than draw in somebody from outside because then the whole dynamics changes.
Right. How about food costs? Because you mentioned that local farm fish is always more expensive than imported produce, right?
Yeah.
But you at least have an advantage where you at least own the upstream business to supply. So how do you manage that actually?
So that's what everybody thinks.
But no,
everybody in F&B thinks that this guy wholesale he supply himself. But the reality of it is not.
Okay.
Because I use local produce,
yes,
and I need to factor in the cost that incurred on the farm side. What you are, let's say restaurant A is paying for, say the same thing, Seabass Barramundi, right? From a supplier that takes from a fish farm in Malaysia. Do you know that even he go through 2-3 hands, it's still cheaper than I directly take from myself? Because my cost is 3 times more expensive than his supplier.
Of course.
Already. Of course, the feeds are more expensive. The manpower to manage it is more expensive.
Everything, exactly.
I mean, we don't have land. We're on sea. We pay a license per year. That helps like a lot. But then there's the whole petrol, my boat in and out. Then all these things are crazy. So for me, food costs, I'm happy below 26-28%.
That's healthy.
That's in a healthy range. Healthy. Considering, but let's just break the whole idea of what people think I have. Right. Guys, I'm not having 18%.
People think 18%?
No, a lot of people say that. They say, I see like that. You confirm what? 18%? And I'm like, no. Any restaurant, even for me, 18%, you are giving up on something somewhere.
Yes, it'll be 贪小便. It'll be what you call cut costs, cut corners, and then people can tell. The taste can tell.
But no, so I always say, if you can do it at 18% and be successful,
Go for
I
it.
will come and buy you. And then you please teach me after that. Because I don't know how. I really cannot figure out how it can be done. But I've seen it.
If you are a business owner with 18% food cost, we'd love to invite you for the show, and hopefully you can share with our other speakers and the community on how you manage your food cost to 18%.
They will not say it because it's a secret. They have to keep it a secret because then people know that. Then you're like slapping yourself in the face. Just PM me, guys. Just PM me. We have a chat. Like I need to learn. Like we're always learning. It's always a learning thing for us, right? We can never, I do 10 years already, but then there's somebody out there, even do 1 year, but they've gone through so much to be able to, share that whole experience. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Constant journey.
So second last part, talking about cloud technology and scaling, we talk about digitalization and being more productive. How is digitalization for you guys? How's scaling in terms of using tools and technology to operate your business better?
Stephanie? Hey. I mean, for me as a traditional, so as a person who started 10 years ago, I think back then we don't have a lot of access to technology.
Right.
Even if we had, it's a change. And people are more like afraid of changes, right? Like if I'm doing my Excel sheet so well, should I just stick to it? You think that you can, but reality of it is that it's crippling you to some point. So then I met, by chance, somebody called me from your side, Stephanie, right? Back then, I think this was 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah, you're one of our earliest adopters. So I really appreciate that.
There was this intern. Then I met Eugene after, right?
Yeah.
So there's this intern that called and then like, we have this thing and I can help you with so much more, save your time. I said, I don't need. I'm okay. I'm doing this. I don't have a lot of people. HR, payroll is like that. For me, very easy. Then it's like, I can make it easier. Then, okay, come. Then after that, I saw the platform. I saw that, it's a lot easier now. Clock out. I don't need to go and track. I don't know whether they are like trying to play me out or whatever. Of course, I trust my stuff, but that's another issue. Then hours are like easily one click of a button. I can see who OT, who never OT, how much to pay. Am I controlling? I can see this month, like, am I overshot on the OT? Do I need to do something about it?
OT 1.5 times. So that's a way to control costs in some sense.
Yeah, to some point. Yeah. Then so these are one of the things that we adopted.
See, apart from Stuff Penny, and thank you for shouting out for us. That wasn't the intent of the podcast. But is there any other products that maybe you guys adopted or any technology? There's always talking about like AI or like special way to feed the fishes or whatsoever. Is there anything that you guys adopted that has very good ROI that you can share with everyone else?
For me, actually, on the biggest purchase that we had that helped a lot is solar panels.
Okay.
Yeah. So now our whole farm is running on solar power. You will not hear the generator moving unless I need to do heavy lifting. Which the solar cannot, the power not enough. So example, I have a huge net where we catch the raw fishes. The generator has to be powered. Other than that, daily operations, solar runs all the way through.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, we got one mini aircon, small one, and that works. It works well. Day to day, no issue.
So if you are someone that supports businesses that support, green technology, green initiative and all, I think Kai is a really good example of, picking up solar panels, green energy, do their part of society. And also I think the carbon footprint, right, for local source fish and seafood will be a lot less compared to if you import from somewhere further away, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we try to do what we can, but then there's only so much we can do, right? So I don't want to say that I'm like the greenest guy around. Yeah, I'm not. We're definitely not. But we're trying to see what we can do as we go along the way.
Awesome. Now I move on to the final part, which is the quick fire questions. So I have a few questions, but don't think so much. Answer in one word or a short phrase.
Okay.
All right. Who is someone in the industry that you learn a lot from?
Who? I must name?
If possible.
I mean, there's this guy I met years back. His name is Stanley. He used to run a restaurant called Wicked Garlic.
I see.
Yeah, a lot.
What is one piece of advice you wish someone had given to you before you started out?
Don't think, just do.
Don't
think, just do.
Don't think.
Yeah, don't think. Think, then do.
Think, then do. All right. If you have a son or daughter that wants to join you in this F&B journey, what's your advice for him or
her? Advice? Think, then do. Yeah, 100%.
If you have to dine in one of your restaurants, it could be Pilot Kitchen, it could be what do you call that, scaled slice or whatever. What is one perfect meal you order for yourself and maybe your best friend?
if I were to do that, I would be, okay, curry mussels from scale,
100%.
short ribs, gunpowder short ribs from pilot. I'll end off with a clean soup from sliced. And some pastries from Madu the bakery.
That's a royal flush, man. I would like to shout out also to the Kong Ba Pao. The grouper Kong Ba Pao, right? That was a dish.
Wow, that was years back though.
Long time. Or is it now still have?
No.
Now
That was way back.
Way
oh my
back.
god. Oh, wow.
Last time,
okay.
recollection.
Wow,
So
thank
next time you need to do that again.
Grouper. Thank you.
Kong Ba grouper, right?
Oh, that was years back.
So
okay.
I like Kong Ba Pao. That's why I'm fat, right? But it was really good. They used the fatty part of the grouper to make the taste like Kong Ba Pao.
Yeah.
How should people interested in your journey follow you?
Our social pages, especially Scale at Ah Hua Kelong, you'll see quite a bit of me. And Sliced also.
Social pages on Facebook, Instagram?
Instagram. Facebook, Instagram works. Yeah.
Awesome.
For pilot, it's more the boys. Yeah.
I see. If there's a listener that would like to have a mentorship coffee with you, are you willing to offer a one-to-one session over maybe a Zoom call or something like that, or even coffee?
Sure. I mean, if they think that I can help, then sure. Yeah. I don't know whether I can, but let's see.
That's awesome. Yeah. So thank you for being part of our podcast. Any parting words you'd like to have for our audience?
Thank you for listening in. I don't know whether it makes sense, but from a person that has been trying to build things from scratch alone, I think any advice, if anybody wants, I think I can provide pretty good ones because I've done and failed. And then I'm still trying. So whatever they've gone through, maybe I can help you avoid it, Yeah, one of those things, yeah.
So I really enjoyed recording this podcast together with you. I'm a big fan of what you do, farm to table, fly the Singapore flag high in terms of local produce, and the food is delicious. So Kai, really thank you so much for your time, and thanks, I hope you have a good dragon year, and HUAT.
HUAT. Yes, that's better HUAT, man, this year.
Thank you everybody for your time.